Chapter 21 An Zixuan comes to the rescue. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The fifth floor of Dengtian Road, Zhao Mu's fighting spirit vanished the second he stepped onto the level. No way. On the platform, 5 core formation stage monsters were chilling together, each radiating an aura 10 times stronger than that Black Panther. Even with his human emperor blood and a body tough enough for a core formation cultivator, Zhao Mu doubted he'd survive one round. No point in getting humiliated. He leaped back off the platform. The next thing he knew, Zhao Mu was teleported out of the Dengtian Road secret realm, back to the outer sect square. The massive square was jam-packed, a sea of faces stretching as far as he could see. Thousands had to be there. He'd expected a crowd, but this was something else. Well, you finally made it. Been waiting for you, kid. Before Zhao Mu even touched down, an arrogant figure shot towards him. Watch out! Lu Qi and Chu Jiaoran practically dove in front of Zhao Mu. That's Niu Ao, 8th-ranked inner sect genius, Niu Tai's cousin. He's here for revenge. You run. We'll try to hold him off. Lu Qi helping made sense, but what was Chu Jiaoran's angle? No time to overthink it. Run. Why run? Zhao Mu stood his ground, seemingly unfazed by Niu Ao's core formation peak pressure. Niu Ao, seeing Zhao Mu's lack of fear, sneered, don't think being number one in the outer sect means anything. It's still just the outer sect, a whole different world from inner. You wanna stand here and die? Fine by me. Truth was, Niu Ao knew Zhao Mu's sudden rise to the top of the outer sect genius list was bad news. Word might have already reached the sect's inner sanctum. An elder could show up any minute to investigate, maybe even take Zhao Mu as a personal disciple, a prodigy so young with the ability to punch above his weight class. The Holy Yuan Demon Sect hadn't seen talent like that in ages, especially not in a human, known for their weak bloodlines. The human elders had been waiting for a super-talented human like him to pop up. If that happened, Niu Ao's plan to kill Zhao Mu was dead. He had to act fast. Wipe Zhao Mu out before any elders arrived. The human elders might hate him for it, but he was working for Long Tianxiang. If he completed the mission, Long Tianxiang would protect him. He'd gain favor with Long Tianxiang. The Niu clan had better things in store for him. Niu Ao was much better at assessing the situation than Niu Tai. The moment he decided to kill Zhao Mu on the spot, Niu Ao unleashed a golden sword intent concealed in his sleeve. Honestly, using Long Tianxiang's sword intent on a foundation establishment realm nobody like Zhao Mu was overkill. If Zhao Mu hadn't caused such a stir, he could have swiped the sword intent and tortured Zhao Mu to death quietly. But the situation changed too fast. He had to use it now, so if an elder showed up and questioned him, he could blame it on Long Tianxiang. Die. If you can die by this sword intent, your life isn't a waste. Niu Ao grinned, looking ferocious. He'd heard tales of Long Tianxiang's unparalleled swordsmanship in the Shengyuan Demon Sect, and he was excited to finally see it in action. The second the golden sword intent materialized, Zhao Mu felt a chill run down his spine. Lu Qi went white as a sheet. No. She couldn't stop it. The golden sword intent seemed to warp space, heading straight for Zhao Mu's forehead. For a moment, Zhao Mu felt trapped, with no hope of escape. Buzz, star, the sound of the sword was like a dragon's roar. The power and dominance was unmatched. A dragon smashing through a city, unstoppable. Zhao Mu's red sun holy body and human emperor bloodline surged, but the sense of danger intensified. He felt himself getting impaled and felt more desperate than ever before. Long Tianxiang, I'm gonna kill you. Even Zhao Mu knew this sword power wasn't something Niu Ao could pull off. This was Long Tianxiang's sword intent. Break! A clear voice rang in his ears, and just like that, the golden sword intent shattered into shimmering fragments. Zhao Mu almost forgot to breathe. That was close. He nearly died right there. Still reeling, Zhao Mu looked around and spotted a majestic figure flying towards him. It was her, Saint An Zixuan. Zhao Mu never expected her to be his savior, but something felt off. The voice he'd just heard didn't quite sound like An Zixuan's. But who else could it be? An Zixuan seemed like the only one who could deflect Long Tianxiang's sword intent. Whoa, what was that? No idea. Just saw Niu Ao rush Zhao Mu, then Bam. A flash of light nearly blinded me. Who's the hottie? Does pretty boy Zhao Mu have another sugar mama? That's, everyone, hit your knees. The outer disciples kneeled one after another, silent as mice. Niu Ao hung in the air, frozen like a statue, fear written all over his face. He never expected the first person to show up would be Saint An Zixuan, not some human elder. In the Shengyuan Demon Sect, the saint and the saintess held even more sway than the elders. They were the Demon Sect Queen's disciples, her potential successors. He was screwed. This was bad. Long Tianxiang's name might scare some human elders, but it meant jack to An Zixuan. Saintess, seeing An Zixuan approach, Lu Qi and Chu Jiaran bowed. An Zixuan nodded, then walked towards Zhao Mu. Looking at the fading sword intent, she raised an eyebrow. You continue to surprise me. First outer sect genius isn't much to brag about, but for someone with your cultivation, it's rare in Shengyuan Demon Sect's history. Only a few have reached the 5th level at the foundation establishment stage, and never a human cultivator. You are the first since the sect's founding. An Zixuan didn't hide her praise. There was even a hint of appreciation in her eyes. As soon as she finished speaking, several powerful auras rapidly approached from the horizon. I heard a top human genius emerged from the outer sect. Where is he? Let me get a look. Zhou Xiong, don't even think about snatching him. I haven't taken a disciple in 800 years, waiting for a human genius. You have to give him to me this time. Old timer, if you say you won't snatch him, then don't. I'm giving you face. Chapter 22 I Want It All. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 3 figures approached, all human cultivators radiating intense power. The Shengyuan Demon Sect had 12 elders, 8 demons and 4 humans, all of them were at least at the spiritual transformation realm. The simultaneous arrival of 3 human elders underscored the impact Zhao Mu's ascent to the top of the outer sect prodigy list had made. And Zixuan suddenly interjected, how about becoming my disciple? Her words instantly soured the expressions of the approaching elders, who had been smiling. Satan, that's going too far. We've finally produced a peerless human prodigy. We can't let the demon race snatch him away. Absolutely not. I'm the first to object. The speaker was an old man with a long white beard. He was Zhou Xiong, the 5th elder of the Shengyuan Demon Sect and a master of formations, renowned for his skill. Saintess, you've already taken in that little troublemaker, Mu Jiuling. Why not give this human genius to me? Consider it a favor. You've always wanted my precious alchemy furnace, so you can just have it. The offer stunned everyone. The old man, Fan Deng, was the 7th elder, not particularly strong but a well-known alchemist. He could easily craft pills up to the 8th grade, and even the mysterious female emperor had praised his creations. Fan Deng wasn't interested in money, only making pills for enjoyment, making him the poorest of the 12 elders, but he possessed a top-tier magic weapon, the Xianqiao Lingqing alchemy furnace, supposedly a 9th grade treasure he'd found in ancient ruins, and a prized possession for any alchemist. Fan Deng's willingness to part with it for Zhao Mu was a huge investment. You 2 old geezers are good at formations and pills, which sounds impressive, but you're forgetting one thing. Strength is all that matters in this cultivation world. Zhao Mu, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Dugu Zhan, the 3rd elder of the Shengyuan Demon Sect. Become my disciple, and I'll equip you with magic weapons and protective gear above the 7th grade, and teach you the battle heaven and earth art I've perfected. Battle heaven and earth art. That's a top-tier earth-level skill. Once mastered, you can fight against anyone. Elder Dugu Zhan used it to battle his way to the depths of the ancient forbidden land and earn his position as the 3rd elder. Dugu Zhan was different from Zhou Xiong and Fan Deng. Despite being over 3,000 years old, he looked much younger, appearing to be in his 30s and at his peak. He exuded an intense, sharp aura, and looked like a formidable fighter. The 3 elders surrounded Zhao Mu, and along with An Zixuan, 4 pairs of eyes were fixed on him. the outer disciples were green with envy. Becoming an elder's disciple meant instant promotion to true disciple. Regardless of who Zhao Mu chose, he was destined to enter the core of the Shengyuan Demon Sect and rise to prominence. But with the ability to defeat the fourth level of Heavenly Road, his talent was undeniable. So no one dared openly resent it. Zhao Mu was feeling overwhelmed. He'd never considered becoming a disciple, and besides An Zixuan, these three elders each had their strengths. Array formations were incredibly versatile, useful in everything from daily life and auxiliary cultivation to exploring opportunities and surviving perilous situations. Alchemy was essential because cultivation required elixirs. Zhao Mu had the red sun saint body, so he would excel in alchemy, but Elder Dugu Zhan was right, strength was the ultimate power in the cultivation world. With enough power, dangers were minimized. Zhao Mu was intrigued by the battle heaven and earth art. As for An Zixuan, her unforgettable beauty alone made being her disciple worthwhile. Plus, despite her interest in his red sun holy body, she was generous with the benefits she offered, and who minds a small sacrifice for so much in return? Zhao Mu was torn. I want them all. Zhao Mu said finally, if that's the case, he could become a disciple of all four, except for An Zixuan. The elders stared at him in shock. The kid had guts, and Zixuan smiled. I have no objection. It depends on what the three elders think. Her words made the three take the idea seriously. Zhou Xiliang spoke first. Our array masters need extensive time to learn the art. It takes time to grasp the fundamentals, so if you join my sect, you won't have time for anything else. That's out of the question, Fan Dang interrupted. Becoming an alchemy master requires years of dedication. Refining high-level elixirs can take days or weeks. During that time, you must be completely focused and cannot multitask. Dugu Zhan added, to hone your combat skills, you need constant practical training and to develop instinct. The sect can't offer enough opportunities for real combat. You'd have to go to the 10,000 monster forest, where you can find suitable opponents. When I was young, I spent most of my time there, fighting and killing thousands of monsters each year. The elders believed focusing on a single path was necessary to succeed. Zhao Mu nodded. What the elders say makes sense, but I'm interested in formations, alchemy, and fighting. I'd regret giving up or choosing just one. He paused. How about this? I'll spend 3 days learning from each of you. If I can meet your expectations quickly, it will prove I can handle all three. If I can't, we won't waste any time. Each elder would have a 1-day trial period. If he met all three standards, he could become a disciple of all three. Otherwise, the discussion would end. The three human elders exchanged glances. Such a human genius was a rare find for the Shengyuan Demon Sect, and none of them wanted to give up the chance to take him on. Zhao Mu's solution might be the best option. You must be prepared for the possibility that you may not be able to handle three things at once, even with your talent, Dugu Zhan warned. Zhao Mu nodded. He needed to experience each path to discover which one was right for him, and Zixuan spoke. Very well. I'll give you 3 days, then. She picked up the paralyzed Niu Aoxikong and said to Zhao Mu, I'll take him. I'll try to get justice for you, but don't get your hopes up. Long Tianxiang's status is too high. Only the Empress can shake him. Zhao Mu felt grateful. This saint lady was kind. Thank you, Master. You haven't formally become my disciple yet. Call me Senior Sister for now. Okay, Senior Sister Zixuan. Chapter 23 Mysterious Formation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After An Zixuan left, Zhou Xiliang and the other two elders started jockeying for position, each wanting to spend Zhao Mu's first day teaching him. They argued so fiercely, they almost came to blows. Finally, Zhao Mu defused the situation by promising to learn formation skills from Zhou Xiliang first. On a first-come, first-served basis, Zhou Xiliang, puffed up with pride, was practically ready to whisk Zhao Mu away then and there. Elder Zhou, hold on a sec. Zhao Mu turned and walked over to Lu Qi and Chu Jiaran. Chu Jiaran started to speak, then seemed to think better of it. Ignoring her hesitation, Zhao Mu whispered into Lu Qi's ear, be careful of Long Tianxiang. He might be on to us. Lu Qi looked surprised. She'd noticed something when that sudden surge of golden sword intent appeared. It wasn't something Niu Ao was capable of, that much was clear, but she hadn't realized Long Tianxiang harbored murderous intentions towards Zhao Mu. More than likely, Niu Ao ratted him out. Lu Qi said, "Don't worry about me. You go with Elder Zhou. This is a golden opportunity to be favored by 3 elders and the saint all at once. Grab it with both hands. Once you're a direct disciple, Long Tianxiang won't dare touch you." Zhao Mu nodded. "I'll come find you when I get a chance, senior sister. Focus on your training first." Seeing Zhao Mu about to leave, Chu Jiaran finally reached out and grabbed his arm. Zhao Mu frowned. "Senior sister Chu, what's this about?" Zhao Mu's cold tone seemed to throw her for a loop. A moment later, Chu Jiaran's eyes hardened. She dropped his arm and scoffed, "Don't get a big head just because you're the hotshot of the outer sect. Guys who shine too bright often get burned. Enjoy your moment in the sun, because it might lead to a nasty fall. If I ever find your body out in the sticks, maybe I'll do you the favor of giving you a decent burial, for old time's sake." "Oh, how thoughtful of you, senior sister Chu. Asterisk, is this woman nuts?" Asterisk, Zhao Mu thought. Asterisk, now that I'm getting stronger, she's already writing my obituary. If there weren't so many people around, I'd slap her silly. Soon after, Zhao Mu flew toward the inner sanctum with Zhou Xiliang. The disciples in the outer sect square quickly dispersed. One thing was certain: after today, Zhao Mu's name was sure to be a hot topic throughout the entire Shengyuan Demon Sect. Hidden in the crowd, an outer disciple with a shifty look was trembling. He was trying to make himself invisible, terrified of being spotted by Zhao Mu. If Zhao Mu recognized him, he was as good as dead. His name was Wang Sheng, a run-of-the-mill demon cultivator in the outer sect. Year ago, he and a few other demon cultivators went on a training exercise. Passing through a secular dynasty, they got greedy and stormed the imperial city to loot and plunder. As they were about to leave, they stumbled upon a young man with a pure young physique. Knowing that many female cultivators in the sect practiced the 9 divine art and needed men with pure young bodies to help them cultivate, they conveniently snatched the young man and brought him back to the Holy Yuan Demon Sect. That young man was Zhao Mu, the one who was about to become a direct disciple. Gulp. Wang Sheng swallowed hard, fear gripping him. I'm done for. I'm in deep trouble this time. Even though Zhao Mu hadn't brought it up, he definitely hadn't forgotten. Once he became a direct disciple and his position was secure, he'd definitely come looking for revenge. If Zhao Mu caught him, Wang Sheng wouldn't stand a chance. I can't stay in the Holy Yuan Demon Sect. I have to get out of here. Wang Sheng turned to flee, ready to pack his bags and run for the hills, but his family and friends were all in the Shengyuan Demon Sect. Even if he escaped, his family would suffer the consequences, and he'd be a pariah. Just then, Wang Sheng remembered some recent news. The great Xia dynasty that Zhao Mu used to belong to was being targeted by the neighboring great Zhou dynasty. The war had been raging for months and they were on the verge of collapse. If he could somehow save the great Xia dynasty, it would be like doing Zhao Mu a solid. If Zhao Mu came looking for him later, it might be enough to earn some goodwill and avoid punishment. Of course, as an outer disciple, there was no way he could prevent a war between 2 dynasties. But Wang Sheng thought he could convince his family to help. If the elders in his clan knew about this, they'd back him all the way. I need to talk to my father about this now, the sooner the better. Wang Sheng made up his mind and took off, not wanting to waste another second. Otherwise, when the great Xia dynasty fell, he'd be toast. Meanwhile, Zhao Mu had no idea there was a war brewing in his hometown. He followed Zhou Xiliang to the inner sanctum and landed in a quiet valley. This is my magic formation valley. It might seem ordinary, but there are a total of 3,271 formations woven throughout it. Every flower, every blade of grass, every stone, every tree, everything is under the protection of a formation. It's the core of the Shengyuan Demon Sect's mountain defense formation. Once activated, this place becomes the safest spot in the entire sect. Even the core Holy Land can't compare. Zhao Mu was impressed. He was deeply moved by the mysteries of the formation on the road to heaven. Zhao Mu couldn't help but ask, "Did you set up the formation on the road to heaven too, Elder Zhou?" Zhou Xiliang stumbled, nearly falling over. He chuckled and shook his head. I might call myself a formation genius, but even if I dedicated my whole life to it, I couldn't create a top-tier formation like the Heavenly Road. The Saint Yuan Patriarch created that formation 8,000 years ago. I can tell you, the Heavenly Road is the biggest reason the Saint Yuan Demon Sect has survived in the treacherous 10,000 demon forest. Nobody else comes close. That's incredible. Zhao Mu suddenly became curious about this Saint Yuan Patriarch. I know the Saint Yuan Patriarch disappeared 1,000 years after he founded the Saint Yuan Demon Sect. Did he die? Zhao Mu asked. Zhou Xiliang was quiet for a moment before saying, nobody knows where he went. Some say he successfully ascended and went to a new world. Others say he stumbled upon a secret and was imprisoned by some powerful force. Zhao Mu was a little freaked out. The Saint Yuan Patriarch created a huge force like the Saint Yuan Demon Sect, and he got squashed. How terrifying was the power that could suppress the Saint Yuan Patriarch? Come to think of it, after traveling through time, Zhao Mu knew very little about the Xinwu continent. The ancient books he'd read barely touched on the bigger picture. Zhou Xiliang cleared his throat and said cautiously, well, who knows? It's too early for you to worry about that stuff. Come on, follow me to my cave. I'll test your talent for formations first. At the end of the valley, nestled under the cliff, was a huge cave. The scenery inside was pleasant and well lit. There should have been a rock wall above, but looking up, you could see the blue sky, white clouds, and a bright sun hanging high in the sky. On closer inspection, it wasn't the sun, but a giant round mirror. The bright sunlight in the cave was probably channeled through the power of the formation. Chapter 24 Divine Pattern Avenue. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hey master, what brings you to the cave today? Zhou Xiliang was showing Zhao Mu around when a stunning woman in a light blue dress approached. Zhao Mu was instantly captivated. The cave was pretty, but she was in a whole other league, and those, wow, Zhao Mu could honestly say that in all his time at Shengyuan Demon Sect, he'd never seen anyone who could top that. Chu Jiaoran and Lu Qi were cute and all, but this woman was on a completely different level, as if sensing Zhao Mu's gaze. Xiong Yourong frowned slightly. Two thin, embroidery needles shot from her sleeves, aiming right for Zhao Mu's eyes. They stopped a hair's breadth from his eyeballs. Thankfully, she just meant to scare him, or he'd be walking around calling himself blind Zhao. Zhou Xiliang just chuckled. His disciple definitely had a way with the guys. Ever since she started teaching, the number of inner disciples signing up for array technique classes in Array Valley had skyrocketed. Yourong, let me introduce you. This is Zhao Mu, your new junior brother. Turning to Zhao Mu, Zhou Xiliang added, Zhao Mu, this is your senior sister, Xiong Yourong. She might not be the strongest cultivator, but she's a rare prodigy when it comes to divine runes. She's got an incredible knack for understanding them. I actually have something I need to take care of, so I figured she could get you started with the basics of array mastery and test your understanding of divine runes. Grinning, Zhou Xiliang basically dumped Zhao Mu on Xiong Yourong and took off. If Fan Deng and Dugu Zhan had been there, they would have accused Zhou Xiliang of being shameless. He was willing to use his own student as a honey trap just to keep Zhao Mu around. Zhao Mu had no idea what Zhou Xiliang was up to. He bowed apologetically to Xiong Yourong. Please forgive me, senior sister. I didn't mean to stare like that. It's just that. Just what? Xiong Yourong asked with a smile. Zhao Mu was at a loss for words. He couldn't exactly say, they're huge. I was just reacting on instinct. Even if it was true, some things are better left unsaid. Men, she thought. Xiong Yourong had seen it all before. While she wasn't thrilled by the attention, she wasn't really angry. If a guy didn't glance at her, she'd think something was wrong with him, or that he was putting on an act, too afraid to look with his eyes, while his mind was in the gutter. Whatever. Since Master asked me to show you around, just follow me. Xiong Yourong turned and started walking. Zhao Mu hurried after her, swallowing hard. He suddenly had a craving for pears. Soon, Xiong Yourong led Zhao Mu to a small building by the water. She pulled out a palm-sized disc and handed it to him. The disc was covered in tiny, almost invisible symbols. If you looked closely, they seemed to be alive, constantly moving and flashing. "Sister, what is this?" Zhao Mu asked. "A divine pattern disc. Hold it between your eyebrows. Don't look at it with your eyes, look at it with your mind." Even though he didn't understand, Zhao Mu did as he was told. He held the disc to his forehead and closed his eyes. Then, something strange happened. Even with his eyes closed, he could see a huge disc in his mind. He could make out strange symbols on it, constantly changing and shifting. As he focused, he saw more and more symbols, hundreds, thousands. Even though he didn't understand them, he was amazed. "Okay, that's enough." Yourong took the disc back. "Tell me, what did you see?" she asked. "I saw a big disc with weird symbols on it." "Oh," Yourong was surprised. He was visualizing the disc already. No wonder Master brought him back. "Tell me, how many symbols did you see?" Zhao Mu answered honestly. "I didn't count, but around 1,000, maybe a bit more, but less than 2,000. Ahem. Yourong choked, as if startled. As she coughed, her chest bounced, drawing Zhao Mu's attention. The red sun power within Zhao Mu surged, making his face flush. Yourong found it strange, this junior brother was blushing. Could he actually be innocent? "Are you sure you saw that many divine patterns?" "Those symbols are divine patterns." Yourong composed herself and explained, "Yes, everything in the world has an order to it. The power that maintains that order is the divine patterns hidden in the fabric of space. The secret to forming arrays is changing the rhythm of those patterns, influencing and changing the laws of nature. Divine patterns are everywhere and always changing. No one knows how many kinds there are. I've been studying formation since I was a child, and in 30 years, I've become a level 6 array master, mastering more than 6,700 of those patterns, but even then I only know a fraction of all that exist. And even Master only knows a tiny fraction of the total patterns in the universe." Wow! Zhao Mu thought. He'd thought seeing over 1,000 at once was something special. "So, I'm not cut out to be an array master?" Zhao Mu asked. Yourong was speechless. Was this guy just trying to show off? It took her forever to visualize the disc, and another month to see her first divine pattern. Zhao Mu saw thousands right away. That kind of talent came along once in a millennium. Yourong suddenly felt a bit down. With such a talented disciple, Master might not want to waste time on less gifted students like her. "You." Zhao Mu looked confused. "Senior sister, what's wrong?" Yourong hesitated, then sighed. "Never mind. Just keep following me. I'll show you the mysteries of divine patterns. Trust me, the feeling of having all the forces of nature at your fingertips is addictive. Compared to that, fame, fortune, romance, it's all meaningless." "Ahem, senior sister, with all due respect, I'm going to have to disagree," Zhao Mu mumbled. Chapter 25 Yourong's Troubles. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Not long after, Yourong led Zhao Mu to a strange metal shed. The thing was built entirely of metal, and looked tough as nails. But no matter how hard Zhao Mu knocked, it didn't make a sound. Plus, the metal shed was completely sealed, with no visible openings. It was anyone's guess how to get inside. Yourong pressed her palm against the metal, and a faint light burst out, like she triggered something. With a click, a seam appeared, and a passage opened inward. Fingerprint unlocking, Zhao Mu's curiosity piqued, and he followed her inside. As soon as they stepped through, the passage sealed shut, cutting them off from the outside world. "Senior Sister Xiong, what is this place?" Zhao Mu asked, unable to contain his curiosity. Yourong just smiled, not offering any explanation. She pulled out a disc covered in divine patterns and started manipulating them, producing a series of clicks. In an instant, the metal shed vanished, and Zhao Mu found himself falling into a dark, seemingly bottomless void. The intense darkness made him feel like he was being swallowed whole. If Yourong hadn't been there, Zhao Mu would have freaked out. "Relax, we haven't been teleported anywhere. We're still inside the void formation. I just activated it and changed the structure of the divine patterns in the space. That's why it looks like this. There's nothing here, not even a single divine pattern. It's a real void, a blank slate. It means we can change the world however we want, just by adding divine patterns. Zhao Mu was lost. Just watch. Xiong Yourong flipped the divine pattern disc again. Zhao Mu thought he caught a whiff of something fishy, then, the sky lit up, and a vast ocean appeared beneath their feet. They were standing on the water, surrounded by waves, sunlight glinting off the surface. Is this some kind of illusion? Zhao Mu asked, amazed. You could say that. With my current abilities, I can only imitate things by changing the divine patterns. But a master like our teacher can completely transform matter by manipulating them, turn lead into gold, mud into the sea, you name it. Zhao Mu was impressed. He'd never realized formations could be so powerful. The way he understood it, formations just used the power of nature to create a favorable environment. He hadn't expected that master array mages could actually change the very building blocks of reality. But then again, maybe it wasn't so far-fetched. Zhao Mu had been transported from another world, after all. He knew everything was made of atoms. The reason things were so different was just the way those atoms were arranged. Could divine patterns be the equivalent of atoms in this world? Zhao Mu suddenly felt like the possibilities for formation techniques were limitless. Master them, and he might just gain insight into the true nature of the universe. The thought was pretty exciting. Xiong Yourong continued to manipulate the divine pattern disc, rapidly changing the illusion around them. Mountains, rivers, rainforests, snowfields, grasslands. The scenery shifted like a slideshow, the transition seamless, but after a while, Xiong Yourong started to pant, nearly losing her balance. Zhao Mu quickly steadied her, grabbing the divine pattern disc before it fell. Xiong Yourong rested for a moment, looking a little embarrassed. Manipulating divine patterns takes a lot of energy. I'm pretty good at formations, but my cultivation is lacking. I'm still stuck at the peak of the foundation establishment stage, and I can't seem to break through to the core formation stage. If it weren't for that, I could go so much further as an array mage. There was a hint of frustration in her voice. Cultivation was everything for a martial artist. No matter how talented you were in other areas, you wouldn't get far without it. Mortals only lived for a century, tops. But powerful martial artists could live for hundreds, even thousands of years, giving them more time to learn. A genius who only lived 100 years was nothing compared to an average genius who lived for 1,000. It was a problem that had plagued Xiong Yourong for a while. Zhou Siriang had tried everything to help her, but breaking through to the core formation stage was an insurmountable obstacle. Shouldn't the 5th grade Xiaoyuan pill help with that? Zhao Mu asked. Xiong Yourong shook her head. I know, I've tried it. Even the 6th grade Xiaoyuan pill doesn't work. Master says my dantian is damaged, so I can't gather enough energy to form my core. Only the 8th grade Zhiyuan pill can help me break through. The Holy Yuan Demon Sect is so huge. With Elder Zhou's power, can't he get his hands on the 8th grade pill? Elder Fan Deng's an alchemist, right? He should be able to make it. Refining the 8th grade elixir isn't the hard part. It's getting the materials. One of them's an ancient ingredient that's been lost for ages. We can only look for existing pills, but the chances of finding one are slim. Got a lost ingredient. That did make things difficult, but, Zhao Mu said, hey, do you have any Xiaoyuan pills on you? Can I have a few? What do you want them for? Xiong Yourong asked, puzzled. I want to take a look at them, for research. I'm supposed to start studying alchemy with Elder Fan Deng tomorrow. Xiong Yourong didn't press the issue. She pulled out a bottle of 5th grade Xiaoyuan pills from her storage ring. There were 3 left, the ones she'd already tried. They didn't do anything for her, so why not? Here, take them. They're useless to me. Xiong Yourong handed him the bottle. Zhao Mu took the pills, pretended to examine them closely, then shook his head. 5th grade pills are too complicated for me. I'll start with something simpler. He gave the pills back to Xiong Yourong. Xiong Yourong was speechless, but she took the bottle back anyway. Pills were still valuable. after all, hundreds of millions of spirit stones per pill. Ding! You gave away a 5th grade Xiaoyuan pill, triggering a 200x return. You received a 6th grade Yangxin pill. Ding! You gave away a 5th grade Xiaoyuan pill, triggering a 50x return. You received a 5th grade Yangxin pill. Ding! You gave away a 5th grade Xiaoyuan pill, triggering a 3000x return. You received an 8th grade Zhiyuan pill. Zhao Mu's face lit up, an 8th grade Zhiyuan pill. Talk about luck. Senior Sister Xiong, if I could get you a Zhiyuan pill, how would you repay me? Zhao Mu asked. Chapter 26 Senior Sister's Small Fragrance Garden. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xiong Yourong was floored, Zhao Mu getting his hands on an 8th grade Yuan gathering pill. No way. Even as an elder of the Holy Yuan Demon Sect, her master couldn't just conjure one up. What did Zhao Mu have that made him so special? If you can get me a Yuan gathering pill, I'll pay whatever it takes. If that's not enough, I'll sell myself to you. Xiong Yourong declared, she'd risk everything for that pill. That's the spirit, Senior Sister. Just focus on your goal. I'll do everything I can to help junior brother find a solution. Xiong Yourong was more confused than ever. Did Zhao Mu really have a lead? But it was a Yuan gathering pill, for crying out loud. Oh well, better not to get her hopes up. She'd been disappointed too many times before. Later, Xiong Yourong led Zhao Mu out of the void formation and to Zhou Xiliang. Master, my junior brother is a once-in-a-millennium formation genius. He can decipher thousands of divine patterns the first time he sees the divine pattern disc. With the right training, he'll be a huge asset to the sect. Xiong Yourong gushed. Zhao Mu hadn't expected her to praise him so highly. His natural talent must be a big deal. All right. Zhou Xiliang nodded. Zhao Mu, are you interested in formations? Just say the word, and you can have all the resources in this formation valley. I'll teach you everything I know, holding nothing back. Zhao Mu cupped his hands. I'm interested in formations, but I don't want to specialize in it. I'd also like to try my hand at alchemy and combat. Zhou Xiliang frowned. This kid was really trying to have his cake and eat it too, but since he had proven his talent in formations, he had passed the test for now. It was up to Fan Deng and Dugu Zhan to decide what would happen. Let's hold off until you've been to Medicine King Valley and Bloody Battle Hall before making any final decisions. Thank you, Master, for your guidance. Zhou Xiliang nodded. Yourong, your little fragrant garden is looking pretty empty. I'll have Zhao Mu stay with you tonight. As his senior sister, you should show him the ropes. Xiong Yourong looked at him sideways, sensing a hidden meaning. Still, she couldn't refuse a direct order. As you wish, Master. Little junior brother, come with me. All right, senior sister. As soon as he left the cave, Zhao Mu noticed a few inner disciples flying toward them on swords. Spotting Xiong Yourong, they dismounted and bowed. Greetings, senior sister Xiong. Xiong Yourong asked, have you figured out what damaged the formation? One of the male disciples replied, reporting to senior sister Xiong, the damage to the mountain's defensive formation was caused by demonic beasts. We found traces of evil energy at the scene. We've repaired the damage and reported the incident to the core Holy Land. The Holy Sun said he'll personally investigate. Thank you for your hard work. You can rest now. After they left, Zhao Mu asked, what was that all about? Just some demonic creatures causing trouble. It happens all the time in the Holy Yuan Demon Sect. Nothing to worry about. Demonic creatures. Zhao Mu was confused. He thought the Holy Yuan Demon Sect were the bad guys. Why would they be dealing with demonic creatures? Talk about biting the hand that feeds you. Seeing his confusion, Xiong Yourong explained, the Xianwu continent has always been divided into humans and demons. They hate each other. We've been fighting for so long, there's no going back. The Holy Yuan Demon Sect is caught in the middle. Neither side trusts us. A lot of people see us as a thorn in their side. Zhao Mu nodded, he remembered the general history from his predecessor's memories. Humans and demons were always at each other's throats. That's why he was surprised that the Holy Yuan Demon Sect had human and demon cultivators coexisting peacefully. Sure, there were occasional squabbles, and they didn't socialize much, but they seemed to be keeping the peace, which was very different from the constant warfare outside. Xiong Yourong added, "Don't sweat it. The road to heaven and the mountain guard formation were left behind by the Saint Yuan ancestor. They're strong enough to protect the Holy Yuan Demon Sect. Plus, our current sect leader, Empress Shengyuan, is no pushover. Even if the sky falls, she'll hold it up. We don't need to worry about it." Empress Shengyuan. So that's the sect leader's real name, Zhao Mu said. Xiong Yourong stopped and stared at him. "Are you really a disciple of the Holy Yuan Demon Sect? You don't even know the Empress's name?" Zhao Mu smiled sheepishly. "Just a few days ago, I was just a handyman disciple in the handyman courtyard." A handyman just a few days ago? And now he's a direct disciple. Not only that, but Elder Fan Deng and Elder Dugu Zhan wanted to take him under their wing too. Junior brother, that's quite the upgrade. Did you stumble on some incredible stroke of luck? Heh. Zhao Mu just laughed. Xiong Yourong seemed to remember something. She scrutinized him. "Wait a minute, you're the pure young body from the courtyard, aren't you?" "Guilty as charged," Zhao Mu said, mortified. He didn't realize his reputation had spread this far. Hearing his confirmation, Xiong Yourong instinctively backed away. Zhao Mu was baffled. Was she really backing away? Was his pure young body reputation that bad? Realizing she had been rude, Xiong Yourong gave a strained smile and said, "Junior brother, forget about the past. You're a direct disciple now. As long as you work hard, no one will look down on you. You don't have to sell your body anymore." Zhao Mu blushed. Yeah, he had lived a pretty miserable life with Chu Jiaran. Now that he had the red yang holy body, though, he wasn't against it. Soon, Xiong Yourong led Zhao Mu to her Xiaoxian garden. It was a garden filled with a simple, elegant fragrance. Flowers were everywhere, and the scenery was beautiful, giving off a sweet, girlish vibe. He hadn't expected senior sister Xiong to be such a girly girl. Xiong Yourong coughed, looking a little flustered. "I'll go clean up the guest room for you. Feel free to walk around, but stay off the second floor. That's where I live. I don't like company," Xiong Yourong warned. Chapter 27 Senior Sister Wants to Trade. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It was night, and silence hung in the air. In the Magic Valley's small, fragrant garden, Zhao Mu relaxed in a clean, elegant guest room. Xiong Yourong had laid out wine and food to welcome him, but she'd had to step out. Zhao Mu didn't mind. After eating and drinking, he wandered into the backyard, where an open-air hot spring beckoned. He soaked for a while, feeling refreshed. He was still racking his brain to come up with a plausible explanation for how he'd acquired the Zhuyuan pill, but nothing seemed to fit. It wasn't a huge deal, though, in the cultivation world, it's considered bad form to pry into someone else's good fortune. And while people say women aren't the sharpest tools in the shed, Xiong Yourong seemed smart enough to keep her mouth shut. She was eager to get rid of the Zhuyuan pill. For one, it was useless to Zhao Mu. She'd rather use it to gain favor than let it gather dust. Secondly, it was for her own benefit. It wasn't like Zhao Mu was lusting after her, but she was a true disciple, after all, and probably had family expenses. His Zhuyuan pill could fetch her a pretty penny. Plus, building a good relationship with Xiong Yourong could open doors to making a fortune in spirit stones. He still had 7 million spirit stones, but it was a drop in the bucket for his cultivation needs. Just breaking through the 6th level of foundation building required another 100 million spirit stones. Unless he made some serious cash, he'd be stuck before he could even dream of reaching the Jindan realm. Long Tianxiang's awe-inspiring sword intent was still fresh in his memory, even though he was now a direct disciple. With the backing of the 3 elders and the saint, Long Tianxiang wouldn't dare attack him outright. But what if he resorted to dirty tricks? If his own strength wasn't up to par, all the connections in the world wouldn't matter. Someone could kill Zhao Mu without even lifting a finger. with that threat hanging over his head, Zhao Mu had to improve his strength, and fast. The foundation building stage was just too weak. Even with the Red Sun Saint body and the human emperor bloodline, he couldn't unleash their full potential. He needed to reach at least the Jindan stage to have a fighting chance. After his bath, Zhao Mu got dressed and headed back to his room. Passing the stairs, he glanced up, drawn by a strange, lingering fragrance. His curiosity piqued. Zhao Mu started climbing the stairs, wanting to take a peek, but after only a few steps, Xiong Yourong's voice stopped him. "What do you think you're doing?" That her tone was sharp. Zhao Mu awkwardly descended. "I was just curious about the scent coming from upstairs, senior sister. No harm meant. I know what you're thinking. You can't go up there. I've set up all kinds of magic arrays. Even a Yuanying master would get hurt. You want to go up? Dream on." Damn, this woman was serious. Why was she guarding her home so fiercely? "Actually, I think I can go upstairs, and you'll invite me yourself," Zhao Mu said, a confident glint in his eye. Xiong Yourong was about to retort when she saw Zhao Mu open his palm, revealing a pill with an extraordinary texture. Her eyes widened in disbelief. "Zhiyuan pill. Where did you get that?" "Let me see it." That she reached for it, Zhao Mu snatched it back, but Xiong Yourong didn't stop, lunging and nearly knocking him off his feet. Realizing she'd lost her composure, she quickly steadied him, apologizing. "I'm sorry, junior brother. I got carried away." Where did you get that Zhiyuan pill?" "Never mind where it came from. What I want to know is, senior sister, do you stand by what you said earlier?" Zhao Mu chuckled. Xiong Yourong remembered their conversation from that afternoon and blushed. He was doing this on purpose, but she really needed that Zhiyuan pill. It would allow her to break through to the Jindan realm immediately, extending her lifespan by at least 200 years. With those extra years, she could study even more formations, maybe even reach her master's level. It was her greatest hope. Xiong Yourong looked at Zhao Mu pleadingly. "Junior brother, please, can I at least get a closer look? I need to make sure it's real." "You can look, but no touching. Otherwise, you'll swallow it whole and then claim it was a fake. Where would I get justice?" Zhao Mu said. Xiong Yourong raised her hand and swore, "I swear, I'll only look, I won't touch." That she'd read countless ancient texts and studied the characteristics of the Zhiyuan pill. She was confident she could tell the real thing just by looking. Zhao Mu produced the Zhiyuan pill again. Xiong Yourong leaned in, scrutinizing it, hardly daring to breathe. Zhao Mu was also observing her carefully. What a deep valley. It seemed bottomless, endless. The red sun power within him was almost out of control. "Seen enough?" Zhao Mu prompted. Senior sister, if you keep staring at me like that, I don't know how much longer I can hold on. Xiong Yourong straightened up and nodded. "Confirmed. It's an 8th grade Zhiyuan pill. Junior brother, name your price. I'll give you everything I have. Actually, I'm not short on cash." Xiong Yourong bit her lip. She knew what Zhao Mu wanted. Was he really trying to get a bargain? But the Zhiyuan pill was too important. If she missed this opportunity, another one might never come along. After a long hesitation, she said with difficulty, "Why don't you come upstairs first, and we can discuss this more comfortably?" "Sounds good to me." Seeing Xiong Yourong's bashful expression, Zhao Mu found it amusing. She waved her hand as she climbed the stairs, deactivating the magic circle. On the second floor, Zhao Mu made himself at home, plopping down on the large bed. "What a nice smell. Where does it come from?" He couldn't help asking. Xiong Yourong waved her hand, and a pot of orchids appeared. The fragrance in the room intensified tenfold, almost intoxicating Zhao Mu. "What kind of orchid is that? Why does it smell so amazing? How about I trade it for the Zhiyuan pill?" Xiong Yourong suggested. Zhao Mu was taken aback. "Sister, don't try to pull a fast one on me. No matter how fragrant this orchid is, it can't be worth more than a Zhiyuan pill, right?" Xiong Yourong said, "Not necessarily." She explained, "This isn't an ordinary orchid. It's called Bailan Shinji. It's an incredibly rare spiritual medicine. My father stumbled upon it while exploring an ancient secret realm, hoping to find a Zhiyuan pill for me. Elder Fan Deng identified it personally. It's an 8th grade spiritual medicine, and it's still growing. When it matures, it'll probably surpass spiritual medicine and become a priceless treasure. A precious medicine. That was incredibly rare. Priceless, even, he hadn't expected Xiong Yourong to possess such a thing. Trading the Zhiyuan pill for this Bailan Shenji seemed like a good deal. So, what do you think? If you agree to the trade, I'll throw in an extra 50 million spirit stones, plus some magic weapons and elixirs, Xiong Yourong said hopefully. Chapter 28 Deal done. You are listening at novelfull.audio. To be honest, the Jade Orchid Immortal Ganoderma is worth way more than a Zhiyuan pill. No matter how rare they are, Zhiyuan pills are still just 8th grade, but the Jade Orchid Immortal Ganoderma? That thing could become a priceless treasure. You can't even compare it to a 10th grade pill, so, trading it for a Zhiyuan pill? That's a huge loss for Xiong Yourong, but she wants that Zhiyuan pill in Zhao Mu's hands, and she's willing to pay the price. She's not about to sell herself to Zhao Mu, though. Zhao Mu, for his part, was floored. He didn't expect Xiong Yourong to have something this valuable. Hey, Xiong, Zhao Mu said, that Jade Orchid Immortal Ganoderma is amazing, but it'll cost a fortune to raise it into something really special. And it'll take forever. You might not even see it mature in your lifetime. Gotta haggle, right? Xiong Yourong paused, then said, You're right, Junior. It won't take hundreds of years, but it'll be 20 or 30, easy. I feel bad you're taking such a big risk. How about I sweeten the deal? Sweeten the deal, huh? Zhao Mu's eyes lit up. Here we go, then. Xiong Yourong turned around and fiddled with something behind her. She turned back a second later. She was holding a white silk bra. Zhao Mu's expression shifted. Xiong, what do you think I am? Xiong Yourong quickly said, No, it's not like that. Look, she channeled her spiritual power and shook the bra. It instantly turned into a piece of black cloth, radiating some seriously mysterious vibes. Xiong Yourong shook it again, and the cloth shifted, becoming a close-fitting suit of men's soft armor. Intrigued, Zhao Mu stepped closer for a better look. Xiong Yourong said, This is something my father gave me for protection when I left home. It's called Dragon Tendon Armor. A 7th grade defensive magic item made from dragon tendons and scales. It can change shape and defend against pretty much anything. It's incredibly strong. It can even block an attack from a Yuanying master for a bit. Zhao Mu was thrilled. His biggest worry was Long Tianxiang trying to ambush him. With this dragon tendon armor, he'd be way safer. This is amazing. Are you sure you want to give it to me? A 7th grade magic item is a big deal. Xiong Yourong must come from a seriously loaded family. Daddy's little girl, for sure, Xiong Yourong said. I've been studying formations in Formation Valley for years. I hardly ever go out, never made any enemies. This thing doesn't really do much for me. But you seem to have made a splash today. Someone might want to cause you trouble. This dragon tendon armor could come in handy. Thanks, Xiong. I appreciate it. Zhao Mu took the still-warm dragon tendon armor, yanked off his shirt, revealing his ripped physique, and quickly pulled on the armor. Smells amazing. The dragon tendon armor had been with Xiong Yourong for years. Soaked in her perfume. Zhao Mu felt like he was wearing her scent. The dragon tendon armor molded itself to his body, fitting perfectly. It was also incredibly light, barely noticeable. Xiong Yourong hadn't expected Zhao Mu to change in front of her. Even if he only showed his upper body, she rarely interacts with people. She couldn't believe he changed clothes in front of her. Xiong Yourong instinctively closed her eyes, but Zhao Mu's perfect physique had already been burned into her memory. Even with her eyes closed, the image wouldn't fade. Turns out, a man's body can be beautiful. I owe you one, Xiong. When I make it big, I won't forget this. Zhao Mu said. He definitely got a steal from Xiong Yourong with the Zhiyuan pill, and he felt a little guilty. Xiong Yourong smiled. Don't worry about it. You're my junior. We're family now. We help each other out. Zhao Mu nodded and handed over the Zhiyuan pill. Since the Zhiyuan pill was a system reward item, it didn't trigger another return reward. Xiong Yourong took out a storage ring, put the Jade Orchid Immortal Ganoderma, 50 million spirit stones, and some magic tools and elixirs inside, and gave it to Zhao Mu. Zhao Mu took the storage ring. With a thought, he pulled out the 50 million spirit stones and gave them back to Xiong Yourong. Here, take these. I don't want them. I'd feel bad taking so much from you. It'd be too greedy. Zhao Mu said. Xiong Yourong tried to refuse, but Zhao Mu wouldn't budge, so she reluctantly took the spirit stones back. She had the Zhiyuan pill. She could break through to the Jindan realm immediately, and that would take a lot of spirit stones. With these 50 million, she could start tonight. Ding! You sent out 50 million spirit stones, triggered a 200-fold return, and got 10 billion spirit stones. Multipliers a bit low. 10 billion spirit stones are only enough for him to break through to the 8th level of foundation building, whatever. Practice first, then find someone else to get spirit stones from. Seeing Xiong Yourong's excitement, Zhao Mu didn't want to bother her. He said goodbye and went back to the guest room downstairs. He started refining spirit stones and practicing pure Yang Xianming Ju immediately. Overnight, he burned through all 10 billion spirit stones and effortlessly broke through to the 8th level of foundation building. Zhao Mu felt like his burps were pure spiritual energy. After stretching outside, Zhao Mu wondered about Xiong Yourong's condition, so he went upstairs to check on her. But Xiong Yourong's room was closed and warded off by a magic circle, so he couldn't see what was going on inside. She's probably still breaking through. Zhao Mu left Xiaoxiang Garden and went to Zhou Xiliang's cave. Good disciple. How was your night? Zhou Xiliang was drinking tea. When he saw Zhao Mu, he winked and asked. The old man's implying something. Zhao Mu ignored it. Master, I'm going to Yaowang Valley this afternoon. Are you going to teach me array techniques? Why the rush? Array techniques aren't learned overnight. You need to start by identifying divine patterns. It's all rote memorization. I have some books that explain the meaning and use of each divine pattern symbol. Take them back and read them. Zhou Xiliang told Zhao Mu to sit down, then turned to Xiong Yourong. What do you think of Yourong? She's nice. Zhou Xiliang frowned. Not that. Do you like her? Let me tell you, Yourong's got connections. She comes from deep in the 10,000 monsters forest. She's from the Wanxiong clan. Her father's a powerful transcending tribulation cultivator with serious clout in the monster world. Marry her, and you can skip 1,000 years of grinding. Zhou Xiliang really has high hopes for Zhao Mu. Zhao Mu was surprised by Sister Xiong's background. Cultivators are divided into 9 realms: Qi training, foundation building, Dan formation, Yuanying, transformation, refining emptiness, fusion, transcending tribulation, and heavenly man. A transcending tribulation cultivator is a top dog on the Shenwu continent. No wonder Sister Xiong has so many treasures. Turns out she has a transcending tribulation dad. Wait a second, does that mean even a transcending tribulation master can't get a Zhiyuan pill? Zhao Mu suddenly felt like he undersold that Zhu Yuan Dan. Chapter 29 Medicine King Valley Test. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Another surprise, Senior Sister Xiong was a demon. I'd spent a good chunk of yesterday with Xiong Yourong and hadn't picked up on any demonic energy. She must have more than just that dragon tendon armor. She probably has some seriously powerful magic items to completely mask her aura. What a bummer. If I'd known, I would have pushed a little harder yesterday. I could have snagged a few extra magic goodies. As for what Zhou Xiliang was saying, my disciple needs to focus on cultivation right now. I'm not too keen on him getting distracted with romance. Seriously? I'm not about to ditch the whole forest for one tree. Zhou Xiliang looked taken aback, then chuckled wryly. Even if you're not looking for anything serious, hanging out with your sister isn't a bad idea. I'm not sure if the Shengyuan Demon Sect can still, cough. I'm feeling a little wiped. I'll catch some Z's. Old man Fan Deng should be by this afternoon to pick you up. Just go with him, no need to bother me. Alright, master. I'll be off then. Zhao Mu left the cave, a puzzled expression on his face. It seemed like Zhou Xiliang was holding back. Is something going down with the Shengyuan Demon Sect? Whatever. If the sky falls, someone else will catch it. It's not like it's Zhao Mu's problem. He found a quiet spot and cracked open the books Zhou Xiliang gave him, 3 in total, * Divine Rune Annotation * Analysis of the 36 Basic Divine Rune Structure * Introduction to Elementary Divine Rune * Sounds legit. Zhao Mu opened the Divine Rune Annotation and started digging in. The book was packed with interpretations of over 100,000 divine runes, enough to make your head spin. Even with my current comprehension, this is going to be rough, and learning the runes is just the foundation for array techniques. Imagine how sharp you have to be to become an array master. After flipping through a few pages, Zhao Mu was already losing steam. Better to wait until I break through to the Danjie realm and sharpen my comprehension before tackling this again. Before he knew it, the afternoon rolled around. Fan Deng showed up at Array Valley hours early, practically bursting to find Zhao Mu. Huh, Zhao Mu, you look miserable. You're definitely not cut out for array techniques. Sure, we need some talent and comprehension in alchemy, but not as much as those array guys. Especially since you've got that pure young body. Master the art of fire control, and you'll be twice as effective at refining pills. Before Fan Deng could finish, Zhou Xiliang's voice boomed from the cave. Hey, knock it off, old man. My disciple grasped thousands of divine patterns the first time he saw the divine pattern plate. His talent is off the charts, a once-in-a-millennium thing. If he hones his skills, he'll have a brighter future than any alchemist. What? Fan Deng's jaw dropped. He might not be a formation master, but he knew a thing or two, seeing thousands of patterns on first look. That's not just talent, that's a gift. Could it be that Zhao Mu's a total all-rounder? If that's the case, Zhou Xiliang will never let him go. Maybe this kid really could become a direct disciple of 3 elders at the same time. That would be a first in the Shengyuan Demon Sect's entire 8,000-year history. Regardless, I want a piece of that. Good disciple, follow me to Medicine King Valley. With that, Fan Deng summoned a cloud and whisked Zhao Mu away from Array Valley. After flying at top speed, they arrived at Medicine King Valley in no time. Medicine King Valley was massive, several times larger than Array Valley. Row after row of spiritual fields stretched out, all neatly organized, with tons of man-made spiritual herbs planted everywhere. Even up at several thousand feet, you could catch the sweet scent of medicine in the air. And the number of disciples in Medicine King Valley dwarfed those at Array Valley. Hundreds of inner disciples bustled about, tending to the spiritual herbs. Fan Deng led Zhao Mu straight to the heart of the valley, an ancient garden brimming with high-quality spiritual medicines, all radiating stronger medicinal properties. The sheer variety of herbs was overwhelming, and Zhao Mu, who barely knew one from another, was completely lost. Inside the garden, in a wooden building, Fan Deng eagerly pulled out an alchemy furnace and started testing Zhao Mu's alchemy chops. Disciple, have you ever messed around with any fire-based techniques? Zhao Mu nodded. A little bit. Good, then use your fire to heat up this furnace. I'll keep adding herbs. Your job is to control the flame so the herbs don't turn to ash, but still get hot enough to release their medicinal power. Think you can handle that? I'll give it my best shot. Fan Deng nodded. Let's get started. Zhao Mu took a deep breath, touched the furnace with both hands, and fired up the burning flame palm. Pure yang fire blazed from his palms, turning the furnace cherry red in seconds. That's one powerful pure yang fire. Wait, no, it feels more like the true fire of the sun. The best possible flame for alchemy. This kid's even more gifted than I thought. Fan Deng was stunned, looking at Zhao Mu with newfound respect. Fan Deng pulled out some herbs and started tossing them into the furnace. Seeing the temperature rising too fast, Zhao Mu dialed back his power, carefully reducing the flames. Luckily, the herbs didn't burn to a crisp. From then on, Zhao Mu focused on micromanaging the furnace temperature, trying to keep it just right to extract the maximum medicinal power from each herb. He botched a few batches at first, but after a while, Zhao Mu was controlling the fire like a pro. Almost every herb went in and came out in perfect condition, releasing all its goodness, and he was getting faster at it too. In less than half an hour, Fan Deng ran out of herbs. He took back the furnace and nodded, beaming. Good disciple. If I'm not mistaken, you've awakened the Red Sun holy body. Only that can produce such pure, true fire of the sun. And you know, using the burning flame palm to release the flame. Genius. It's given me some new ideas. Seeing Fan Deng so impressed, Zhao Mu sheepishly admitted, actually, master, the burning flame palm is the only thing I know. Huh, no sweat. Besides refining elixirs, our specialty here in Yourong Valley is fire-based techniques. Come with me, and you can pick out a few that strike your fancy. Fan Deng turned and led Zhao Mu to a heavily guarded warehouse. The warehouse was underground, with a massive space filled with countless magic circles for protection. Shelves lined the walls, each loaded with various elixirs, categorized by type. This has got to be the Holy Yuan Demon Sect's main elixir stash. These are just the newly refined, lower-quality elixirs. Anything grade 5 or higher is kept in a treasure pavilion in the core Holy Land, Fan Deng explained. As they walked, they arrived at a small library inside the warehouse. It held hundreds of exercises, all with either fire or wood attributes. Usually, you need both of those to be an alchemist, which is a high bar for most cultivators. Fan Deng grabbed a few exercises from the top shelf and handed them to Zhao Mu. These are all earth-level techniques. Take your pick. Chapter 30 Junior Sister Tao Subai. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Can I just pick any skill I want? Zhao Mu was loving this Grand Master gig. He immediately grabbed the exercises and started checking them out. Shengyuan Demon Technique, Red Flame Tyrant Sutra, Bloody Rainbow, Earth and Abyss of Fire, Qingyang Samu Gong, The Secret of Endless Life. 3 Fire-based, 2 Wood-based, all low-grade prefecture level. Honestly, Zhao Mu wanted them all. Even if he didn't practice them himself, he could give them away and maybe get a heaven-level skill in return. Who wouldn't be greedy? But that was obviously unrealistic. After thinking it over, Zhao Mu picked 2, the Red Flame Tyrant Sutra and the Secret of Endless Life. The Red Flame Tyrant Sutra was a pretty straightforward fire technique, super aggressive and fierce. Maybe not great for alchemy, but definitely good for combat. Same with the Art of Endless Life. Besides making medicinal ingredients stronger for elixirs, it could be used for recovery and healing. Zhao Mu's Red Sun holy body and human emperor bloodline already had crazy recovery abilities, so this was a plus. Practicing the Art of Endless Life would just make it even better. Fan Deng looked thoughtful at Zhao Mu's choices. Kid, it's good for a cultivator to be good in a fight. You gotta fight to get ahead. But if that old coot Dugazan tries to trick you into training in the 10,000 Demons Forest, don't listen to a word he says. That guy doesn't care about life. He'd toss you into a monster's den and leave you to rot. Zhao Mu was stunned. Seriously? He needed to watch out. Zhao Mu wasn't some fanatic looking for a fight. Normal combat training was fine, but the whole push yourself to the brink of death thing was a bit much. He had a system, sure, but he wasn't some chosen one who could turn any danger into an opportunity. With the system, he had good times coming, but he still needed to play it safe. Fighting was fine, but dying wasn't on the agenda. Thanks, Master, for the heads up. I'll keep that in mind, Zhao Mu said seriously. Fan Deng nodded, seeing that his disciple was pretty level-headed. Geniuses weren't rare, but the old guys who lived long lives were always cautious. The show-offs were usually short-lived. Leaving the warehouse, Fan Deng didn't let Zhao Mu start practicing right away. Instead, he spent the day teaching him how to identify elixirs. First thing any alchemist needed to learn was their elixirs, appearance, effects, where they grew. Alchemists needed to know everything. All day, Zhao Mu sat in the garden, soaking up the sun, buried in a thick book of elixirs. He never knew there were so many types of elixirs and so many crazy effects. Closing the book, Zhao Mu stretched, seeing the sky was dark, the moon shining a cold light on him. Senior brother, Elder Fan has set up a place for you. Come with me. A tall female cultivator walked over. Zhao Mu asked, Who are you? And why are you calling me, senior brother? I'm Tao Subai, an inner disciple of Yourong Valley. Sect rules say we rank each other by the prodigy list, no matter how long we've been here. But senior brother Zhao, your elder Fan's direct disciple now, so you outrank the inner disciples. Zhao Mu nodded. Direct disciples were a big deal. There were only 12 elders in the Shengyuan Demon Sect, and each could only have so many disciples. Maybe 100 direct disciples in total. Tao Subai, your name is lovely. Please lead the way. Of course, brother. Tao Subai lit a lantern, lighting the path to a quiet courtyard. Brother, this is the direct disciple residence. Everything's ready. I live close by. Just call, and I'll be right over. I can call you for anything. Like warming my bed. Zhao Mu said, smiling. Tao Subai seemed so serious, like a monk in an old temple, sober and refined. Which made Zhao Mu want to tease her even more, but Tao Subai didn't crack a smile. Brother, please don't talk nonsense. I may call you senior brother, but I could crush you with one hand. Please respect yourself, senior brother. Her aura surged, as powerful as Nyo Ao's. Zhao Mu almost choked. Luckily, Tao Subai didn't push it and left. Zhao Mu swallowed. This junior sister was no joke. Nyo Ao was at the peak of Dan formation, close to nascent soul. Tao Subai was stronger. Was she a nascent soul master? He should have kept his mouth shut. He needed to get better at reading people, or he'd get himself in trouble. Walking into the courtyard, Zhao Mu took a look around. It was nice. Everything was set up. Even a high-quality alchemy furnace, lots of medicinal materials, too, and a stack of pill recipes. All first and second grade recipes were a must for alchemy, detailing the refining process. Only after mastering the recipe could you start refining, like a recipe, but way more complicated. Zhao Mu picked up a qi training pill recipe. Even a first-grade pill recipe was complex, detailing the order and timing of ingredients, temperature, everything down to the millimeter. With nothing else to do, Zhao Mu gathered the ingredients for the qi training pill, read the recipe, and started refining. He heated the furnace, added the ingredients, and controlled the heat. He actually did pretty well. Almost burned the ingredients a few times, but he managed to save them. An hour later, a furnace of qi training pills with a fresh scent finally took shape. Zhao Mu wiped his brow, looking at the 3 misshapen pills in front of him. He felt pretty good, first time refining. He managed to make the pills without ruining the ingredients. Not bad. In the distance, Fan Deng lowered his gaze. That kid's a prodigy. Talented in both formation and alchemy. And he cleared the 4th level of the heavenly path with a foundation building cultivation. Maybe fighting's his true calling. I can't wait to see what he does at the Blood Battle Hall tomorrow. Humans are better than demons at alchemy and formation, but demons always beat humans in a fight, with their bodies and bloodlines. I hope that kid can inspire the resentful human cultivators.